Hi guys, so today I did a little experiment, well actually not today, but today will be the result of that experiment. I stopped drinking coffee for 90 days and I started drinking again for a few days, and this is what happened. So initially when I first started to stop, it was just because I noticed that I didn't really need that much caffeine. There was just something, I think my body got used to just waking up so early in the morning and going at a specific time at night. My body just got used to that, so I kind of thought maybe I'll just scale back from the coffee. I actually went from like 2-3 cups in a day. I can't drink after 11 a.m. I don't know what it is with my body, but if I drink after 11 a.m., I can't sleep at night. So I had to devour 2 to 3 cups before 11, and then I scaled that back to 2, and then I scaled it to 1, and then I scaled it to 0. And so day 1 would be the first day that I didn't have any coffee. What I noticed on the day 1 was I was getting a lot of headaches, and they said this is they called it a caffeine withdrawal. So that happened, and that lasted for a few days, about a few days, less than a week, but more than a couple of days. So probably about 4 or 5 days I would get headaches. There were certain days that were worse than others. And after I finished doing that, after I went over that like big hurdle, and the pain is massive, by the way, and nothing can help it. Not any kind of OTC can help it. So you just really gotta ride the wave. So I did that, and then I decided not to drink coffee, just because that happened. So I didn't drink coffee, and then it just became like a few weeks, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna document this, and I'm just gonna share my experience with everybody. So after 90 days, I decided to have some coffee again. What I've noticed was I was actually more energetic without the coffee. For how many days? I mean, for how many weeks? How many months? Let's just say I'm already in day 30. I was more energetic in day 30 than day 20, and more energetic in day 40 than day 30, if that makes any sense. I also didn't feel a lot of crash. I also didn't feel like a heaviness. I also didn't really feel a lot of, I don't know, it just, my body and my mind just felt better. It felt clearer, it felt lighter, it felt freer, I guess. And I wasn't very hooked on the coffee anymore. So, and just to let you know, in that 90 days, it's not like I was caffeine free. I did take some caffeine. I switched to black tea. However, I wasn't consuming the amount of caffeine that I would have consumed in 1 cup of coffee. I was consuming a lot less, just because tea is just so much less than coffee. And there were days that I also didn't consume any tea or any kind of caffeine, just so you know. And what I noticed is that when I was drinking just the tea or the no tea in that day, if I needed it or not, because I wasn't drinking it every day just because I needed it anymore. That's the big difference between the coffee and the tea. With the coffee, I really felt like I needed it every day. With the tea, there were days when I'm like, I don't feel like I need it, so I'm not gonna do that. And there were days when I'm like, you know what, I feel like I need a little bit of oomph, so I'm just gonna have a cup of tea. The difference that I've noticed with or without caffeine, with or without tea, and versus to coffee on a daily basis, was the drinking the tea. It wasn't getting me hooked, in which I needed it every day. And if I skipped it, I wasn't getting headaches. I also wasn't getting like that irritability I don't know if anybody else is like that. Like, if you've been drinking coffee for so long and then you stop drinking coffee, or you haven't drank your caffeine for the day, you have like this irritability that like you're like shaking because you're like so irritated and you're like so frustrated, and just this much can actually make you kind of explode or implode in a sense. So I didn't feel that at all without caffeine or with some caffeine from tea. To be quite honest, I really didn't think this experiment came out really, I didn't expect it to come out really well, especially for my benefit, because I've been drinking coffee for so many years, and I love coffee. I love the taste of it. I love the flavor, and I have an espresso machine, for crying out loud, which I was not using for how long. And what I've just noticed is I feel a different person with tea versus with coffee. Like with coffee, I feel like my heart is racing. I feel a little jittery at certain times in the day. With tea, even if I have more, multiple cups of tea, I don't know. It's not the same. And it's not the same effect, and it's not the same side effect, and it's not the same negative effect. It's not the same everything. So I'm really shocked with that. Just so you know, in the first weeks that I did stop drinking coffee. I didn't take any tea or anything. It was just water, and rarely, if I did, I would have like San Pellegrino, the pomelo, or the blood orange. Other than that, nothing. And I don't know, I think it works with my body. But just so you know, I'm just really impressed on the results. I really didn't expect it. What was it? I started drinking coffee like maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. And I've been hooked on it since. And there really is a difference waking up when I was drinking coffee the day before than waking up when I didn't drink coffee the day before. So this is what would happen. If I was drinking coffee on a Monday, I wake up on a Tuesday, my body is just, I don't know, like, I feel like my feet are dragging. I feel like my feet are really heavy. I feel kind of heavy. I feel like it's hard to wake up. I thought this was just normal, but then I had the comparison of just not having coffee the day before, or not even having any kind of caffeine the day before. And the next day, my mind is really clearer. I literally can just hop out of bed, literally. When someone says that, I always think like that's a joke, because before I would wake up like this way, like super slow, and I will have like that kind of effort. Now if I'm not drinking, if for the 90-day span I didn't drink any coffee, and let's just say on a Tuesday I had some tea, and a Wednesday I didn't, Thursday I didn't, Saturday I might have a few cups of tea. The difference is, with or without me drinking the tea, is the same. Like the next day my feet aren't dragging if I'm drinking tea, or if I'm not drinking tea the previous day. I don't feel as heavy when I get out of bed. I don't feel as like foggy when I get out of bed. And if I skip drinking tea after I've been drinking tea, let's just say for a full week or a few days or 2 weeks or something like that, every single day, I don't have those withdrawal headaches, which is really strange because black tea does have caffeine. Maybe I think like a quarter to a third in one tea bag versus a cup of coffee. So when people say you're having caffeine withdrawals, I really think it's more of either the amount of caffeine you're withdrawing from, or just coffee withdrawals. Because When I'm drinking tea, I double bag it in my first cup. The second cup, I'm using the same 2 bags, and sometimes I put a third bag in there. So I am drinking a good amount of caffeine. I think that when I was having the supposed quote unquote caffeine withdrawals, I think they were really coffee withdrawals, because yes, I'm not drinking the same amount of caffeine in a daily basis, but if it is really caffeine withdrawal, why is it that when I'm not drinking tea the next 2 to 3 days after I was drinking tea for a whole week or 2 days or 3 days or how many days, how come I'm not getting the headaches? How come I'm not getting the effect that I would get from coffee? Before, even if I drank coffee one day, the next day, if I'm not drinking coffee, I get a headache. If I drank coffee 2 days, the next day I skip coffee, I get a headache. I get that same reaction from my body. I'm tired, I'm fatigued, all these things. So, in my conclusion is that I feel like if you are a coffee drinker and you're skipping in a day, I feel like it could be the amount of caffeine that you have taken in your body. Or also it could just be coffee itself and not just caffeine itself, just because of that. So that is just my experience. So I did take coffee. I didn't take coffee today. I took it yesterday and the day before. And today I was feeling like, oh my God. When my alarm woke up, I literally said, oh my God, really? Really? I was like, ugh, it's morning already. I gotta get up, that kind of situation. I don't get that when I'm drinking tea the day before. I don't get that if I'm not drinking tea, or any kind of caffeinated drink the day before. So when I've read and heard the benefits of tea versus the benefits of coffee and, that kind of situation, I was really very skeptical, because I don't know. I was just like, no, it can't be. But also at the time that I was reading this and also, doing my research, I was heavily into coffee. So I'm like, no, I really was hooked. I'm like that addict of the coffee that I'm like, no, I'm not giving that up. I'm not giving that up. You can get anything else. I'm not giving that up. And then I'm just kind of thinking, why not? Why not give it a shot? What do I got to lose? I was worried that when I would do it, I would be more fatigued the day after. Day 2, I would be worse than day 1, and day 5, I'd be worse than day 4 in that kind of sense. So it was more a lot of fear in my head, and I was just worried that I would be just like a zombie the whole day. That didn't last very long. That took maybe a few days to go through the waves of the headaches and the withdrawals and all that stuff. And then after a few weeks I don't even know how long till I started to, substitute it with tea, that I've noticed that if I skipped tea, let's say on a Tuesday, I was drinking on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I skipped it the rest of the week, I wasn't getting the same effect. So I'm really happy about that, and I do get a really good boost with the tea. It just, the amount of tea bags that I gotta use. So I'm really happy with my switch. And I mean, there are certain days that I feel that during the 90 days, that I felt like, man, I need coffee. And you know what I did? I made my tea stronger. And I've also tested it out a certain day when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this tea stronger. And the next 2 days, I'm not going to drink tea. No caffeine. These are the only sources of caffeine for my life anyway. And the next 2 days, I'm not like hooked the way I was really hooked with coffee. Like if I had 2 cups today, the next day I need the 2 cups, like it was really like that. It was getting pretty bad. There were certain times that I was actually doing 4 cups of coffee or 4 servings of coffee. So it was bad. It was not pleasant. And then of course the certain days that I'm like, I really don't want to have coffee today, like just certain times that you kind of feel like you just don't want to. that really kicked me in the butt. I really felt like I lost a fight, because you get all these withdrawal symptoms, you get the massive headache that there's nothing you could do but just ride the waves, and it's very painful. You get the fatigue, my whole body is tired, my whole body is just incredibly heavy, my head is foggy, all that stuff. And then I switched to water and tea, and it's like, what? I don't need that if I don't need to. So that was my experience, and I tried coffee again. What was it, yesterday and the day before, and today I didn't have any coffee. I wasn't looking for it. I felt like this is what happened, literally what happened this morning. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I have another cup of coffee? So before I do my video, I can actually say I'm having coffee and stuff like that. And I made my coffee from my Nespresso machine, from my coffee pod. And I'm like, I don't know. Not really feeling it. So what I decided, like I'm having a headache right now, right here. And that is from the coffee, because I didn't have any coffee today. Although I did have, I'm having some tea today. I had 2 cups already. I'm still having that because that is, I believe, the result of the coffee withdrawal. And I really don't think it's the caffeine withdrawal, because if it is caffeine, I'm already taking caffeine from the black tea. So why am I still getting like pains in my head? So I'm just going to ride the waves in the next few days and just go back to what I was going through in the past 90 days. I'm really loving the lifestyle with just no coffee and just switching to tea if I needed caffeine that day, or just water. So if you guys have any questions, suggestions, comments, or you just want to chit chat and say hello, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys all the time. Again, if there's nothing that I clarified, just make sure you have questions down below. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'll see you guys again another time. Bye. Before I forget, I will be doing a Q&A video. Until I get a certain amount of questions, then I will make the video. But before then, I will just keep on trying to gather all the questions. So please don't hesitate to leave them down below so I could answer all of your questions. Thank you guys. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and the bell so you are notified every single time I do upload a new video. I do also have 2 other channels. Please do check that out as well. Subscribe and watch my videos there as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them down below. I love hearing from you guys all the time.